Hey there and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Roman, 15 years old, and on this channel we will together learn how to play chess. This video is a completely beginner guide for people who have never played chess before. And believe me, after this video you will be able to play chess and you'll become better and better in the following parts of this video series, which will come out in the nearest future. So let's not waste time anymore and jump right into it. Chess is a very old game, developed about 1500 years ago somewhere in Asia. Some people and sources say in India, some say in China, we actually don't really know. But what we know is that the game is played on this chessboard. Normally it's not that big, but on this show chessboard we will together learn how to play chess. The chessboard consists out of 64 squares, 32 white squares and 32 black squares. And of course there are also chess pieces which will come out later in this video. Well, unluckily on my big show chessboard the black chess pieces are red. Don't ask me why, but actually they have to be black, and I also call them black in my YouTube videos. While the vertical columns of the chessboard, the so-called files, are called with letters from A to H, the rows of the chessboard, the horizontal rows, the so-called ranks, are named with numbers from 1 to 8. And this means that every single chess square on the board, every of the 64 squares, has its own name. For example, this square here is called E4. Why? Because the E file and the fourth rank of the chessboard meet together on this square, and therefore this square is called E4. Another example. This square here is called F7 because the F file and the 7th rank of the chessboard collide here together on this white F7 square. Now a question for you. How do you call this square? Right, this is the B3 square. The B file and the 3rd rank meet together on this square. So you can, by the way, practice this by just picking a random square on the chessboard, for example this one, and then you have to guess or find out how this square is called. Well, this square is obviously called C6. And to make this harder, you can even use a chessboard where the names of the files and ranks are not named on the side of the chessboard like on my show chessboard. Boom! Now the chessboard isn't empty anymore, but the 32 chess pieces have spawned. 16 white ones here and 16 black ones on the top. Well, obviously on a normal chessboard they would be all on the same height, on same level. Just on this show chessboard I also have the white chess pieces on the ground and the black chess pieces on the top. You can also imagine chess as a war or as a battle between two states or two countries. Not just the stronger one wins, the one with the more and the stronger chess pieces left on the chessboard, but rather the smarter one, the one who's clever and can trick his opponent into different and lots of traps. But there's one difference to a real war in the real world. Every chess game starts with you and your opponent having the same matchup, and it always looks like this. This is how a chess game starts, exactly with this setup. In the end, many chess pieces can be taken out of the game and maybe get back on the chessboard again, but it always starts like this. So both armies of chess pieces have one king. He's the very important chess piece on the board, even the most important one. Close to the king we obviously have the queen, which stands exactly here. And this is the strongest chess piece. Then around of these king and queen here in the center of the chessboard we have 2 bishops, then 2 knights and 2 rooks for each army on the chessboard in the corner of the chessboard. And in front of these 8 chess pieces we have 8 pawns. They are all worth the same and they're the weakest chess piece on the chessboard. And they are all here standing on the 2nd rank and 7th rank of the chessboard. By the way, if you want to set up a chessboard and you can't remember on which square exactly the king and on which square the queen stands, you have to remember the very important rule. The queen loves her color. Therefore, the white queen always stands at the beginning of the game on a white square, and the black queen, or on my show chessboard, the red queen, also on a black square. Boom! The chess pieces have all again disappeared from the chessboard, except of our king here on the e5 square. Because now we're going to take a look at every single chess piece. I'll explain you how powerful they are and how they move on the chessboard. So let's start with the king, the most important chess piece in the whole game of chess. But actually, he's pretty weak. He can only move always one square far, but therefore in every direction. He can move like this, so vertical, horizontal and diagonal, but always only one square far. Let's continue with the queen, the most powerful chess piece on the chessboard. And she is powerful because she can move exactly like the king, so in every direction, vertical, horizontal and diagonal, but without any restrictions, so not only one square far, but through the whole chessboard like this. Vertical like this, horizontal, and also like this, diagonal through the whole chessboard. And this is also the reason why she's so powerful, because she can jump through the whole chessboard only in 1 or 2 moves. So the queen is equal to 9 pawns on the chessboard, aka points of material. The higher the points, the more powerful a chess piece on the chessboard is. So the queen with 9 points of material, worth 9 pawns, is the most powerful and strongest chess piece on the chessboard. In comparison to this, we can for example continue with our bishop. He is only worth 3 points of material, so only 3 pawns, being 3 times weaker, officially, than the queen, because he can only move diagonally through the whole chessboard like this. He cannot move vertically, not horizontally, only diagonal, but through the whole chessboard as far as he wants. And actually this is pretty interesting, because since we have a pair of bishops, so 2 bishops, one bishop can move only on black squares, because he moves diagonally, and the other one only on the white squares like this. So now let's continue with the knight, which is even more interesting. He's actually officially in the game of chess as same strong as the bishop, because he's only worth 3 pawns or 3 points of material. And the knight moves pretty interesting, because he's the only chessboard who can jump over other chess pieces. For example, I'm going to put a pawn here in front of the knight, and the knight can still jump on this square from e5 on f7. And if you're asking yourself right now, well, how he can jump over the pawn, and isn't it weird to jump from here to here? Well, the rule for the knight is that he can move in every direction, every way he wants, except of the edge of the chessboard, obviously. Always 2 squares to the front, and then 1 square to the side, so either here or here. Therefore, he can also jump like this over the pawn, 2 squares into the front, and then he decides whether he goes 1 square to the side, to the right, or to the left. So from here, he controls altogether 8 different squares, because he can go 4 times to the side, and then every time he moves 2 squares to the side, he can also decide whether he moves to the right or to the left. So he's very, very interesting, because he's the only chess piece who can jump over another chess piece. And now let's continue with the next chess piece, which is the rook. He's also pretty strong, because he's worth 5 points of material, so 5 pawns. And he can move vertically and horizontally through the whole chessboard without any restrictions like this. So he is also a bit comparable with the bishop, only that the bishop moves diagonally and the rook horizontally and vertically. Now we will move on to the last chess piece on the chessboard, the pawn. There are 3 main rules and 1 extra rule that you have to know when you are talking about the pawn in the game of chess. So at first, a pawn can always move only 1 square to the front. 1 square to the front like this. Always just 1 square to the front. But there are some exceptions. For example, if an opponent's chess piece is standing diagonally in front of your pawn, so not directly in front of your pawn, but in front of your pawn 1 square to the side, so diagonally to your pawn can just take out the opponent's chess piece diagonally like this, and from now on this black bishop is completely taken out of the game, and in chess this is called a capture. You can now put this black bishop aside. He is not playing in this chess game anymore. He is now taken out. So the pawn can capture diagonally, but he only moves into the front like this vertically. The second rule and the second exception is that when the pawn has not moved yet in a game of chess, so it's like this, then he can do a double jump. So he can skip the 3rd rank of the chessboard, or for the black chess piece, the 6th rank of the chessboard, and he can just over jump it by skipping this square and moving 2 squares to the front. The black chess pieces, of course, let's put the bishop back here on f8, can do the same thing, doing a double jump. You're not forced to do this when you're still standing on the 2nd rank of the chessboard with your pawn. You can also just move like this, only 1 square, and then always only 1 square. But there is an option where you can skip the 3rd rank, and do a double jump. This is also the reasons why so many chess games start with the move pawn from e2 to e4, immediately occupying the most important place after, of course, your king's safety, which is the center of the chessboard. So to understand the 3rd rule, the extra rule of how a pawn works and moves, which is called en passant, you have to know a bit more about the game of chess than just the basic rules which I have shown you in this video. Therefore, in the nearest future, I will upload part 2 of this video series, where we will continue with the rules of the game of chess and how to play chess, my full beginner guide. Therefore, don't forget to check out part 2 of this video series. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel and activate the announcement bell so you won't miss it when it comes online. But before this video ends, I will quickly explain you how a chess game starts and goes on. So every chess game begins with a setup like this, and the first move is always made by the player who plays the white chess pieces. So he does a move and he has to choose from one of the 20 that are possible in this position, because except of the knights and our pawns here, all of the other chess pieces cannot move in the beginning of the game, so from the first move, because they're completely blocked by this pawn wall. So this is also a very important rule of chess. Pieces, except from the knight, cannot jump over other. Here, for example, the rook in the corner of the chessboard is completely blocked and he cannot move vertically or horizontally, how he could have, because he's getting blocked by his chess pieces. And it's also the same when he's getting blocked by his opponent's chess pieces. So white starts and they choose, for example, how I've already said, the most famous move, pawn from e2 to e4. So now since white has moved, it's now black's turn and they choose one of their 20 moves. So let's say, for example, pawn to e5. Now it's again white's turn, then black's turn, and so on and so on. Always in an order like this. And this is again one of the main reasons that show us the beauty of chess. After one move into the game, there can be 400 different positions on the chessboard, because 20 times 20 equals 400. After 2 moves into the chess game, only 2 moves, so for example like this, every army has again made a move, there can be 772,084 different positions, possible positions on the chessboard, and after only 3 there can be over 9 million different positions on the chessboard. Isn't this completely impressive and incredible? So before this video ends, one last rule. I've already showed you that the pawn can capture other chess pieces like this diagonally. So you can take it out like this. And every other chess piece can also take out opponent's chess pieces, how they move. So if, for example, this bishop is standing here, he can with his next move capture this pawn like this, and this pawn now is away from the chessboard. And the same thing goes for all of the other chess pieces except from the king. There's another rule, but also, for example, the knight, who moves 2 squares to the front and then 1 square to the side, can capture this pawn like this, and he's taken out of the game now for a lot of time. So this was an audio of this video, which I have shown you and explained you the first rules of how to play chess, my beginner guide. I really hope that you liked the video. If you liked it, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel, leave a like and share these videos with other friends who you want to play chess against. But at first, obviously, they have to learn how to play chess. So till next time and to the next part, bye!